What happens if we get a Republican president and we have a Republican House and Senate? What happens to the Affordable Care Act?
I don't think anything.
I don't either.
Why not?
Well, because by then you'll have, upwards of 20 million people covered. People who get coverage like it. They want to stay covered. I just don't see them upending it.
Yeah, plus Congressman Waxman's going to love that 60-vote thing in the Senate that he just that was critical of.
Yeah, but is there, at some point, I've been doing this for 28 years now, and every time a big major bill passes, you have something called technical corrections, as you talked about yesterday, because no bill is perfect, or it doesn't play out the way people assume it will. And so, Medicare has been a series of technical corrections over the years. Yeah. In 1972, 7 years after Medicare, there was an enormous expansion of the program. That was one of the most important healthcare bills ever that people, I think, forget about. Created as the SSI program, among other things. At some point, aren't the Republicans going to have to take a whack at cleaning up some of the things that should be fixed?
Yeah, I think at some point, maybe I actually had some hope that on the SGR bill that passed, they might put some things together. They weren't able to do that. But yes, I think there will be an effort to go back and tweak some of the things and start working on it together. And if I were a Republican president, I would thank my lucky stars that the problem of the uninsured that had been hanging out there for 100 years, some of these other problems had been dealt with, and then move on to, improving it, making it better.
It depends what they run on, of course. But
yeah, if they run on repealing it, then they sort of have to do something.
They have to do, but I think it really is here to stay. We've given a lot of people something very important, not just the subsidies, but as Nancy-Ann mentioned, everybody now lives in a state of consciousness where they know that if they're sick, they can't get thrown off their insurance or they can get new insurance. How do you sell that politically if you're repealing it unless you're doing something to preserve that? And as we found with Obamacare, it's really hard to preserve that without this complex scheme that is Obamacare.
The president used to make this motion Rubik's Cube, and it's a Rubik's Cube. And so, again, if I were a Republican president, I would be happy I didn't have to try to spin the Rubik's Cube. I'd want to work on a different game.